As the leader of the Booner Pack, I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the f*** up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juices pumping, boys.
Technical difficulties there because the setup, the celebration affected the setup, which rightfully so. You know, it was an electric ending to an electric game. I mean, it was honestly, and I hear this saying a lot, Caleb, it's so true, tale of two halves. Yes. First half, you're down 7 to 23. You win the game 26-23. This reminded me, different fashion, different team, not quite the fourth quarter, but last year against the Bears. You look the way you look, they find a way to win. We talked about it the first half. That wasn't a championship team. Second half, that's a championship team. That's what we were asking for, and they delivered.
I can't believe it. I mean, this is – normal teams don't win this fucking game, Jeff.
No, they don't.
Your quarterback throws 5 interceptions. You're in the shitter. You lose that football game. What an unbelievable effort by the Lions. The defense, fantastic job in the second half. Held the Texans 0 points.
Yep.
0 points in the second half. Stroud, 2 turnovers. Dude, there were points in the second half where Carlton Davis interception, and then Goff goes and throws one. Like, we had to face we didn't dominate the second half. There was adversity we had to face. And, man, that win is just
you know
unbelievable.
What, dude? It's not all going to go your way. But you know what? When you have a kicker that can do that, Dan Campbell has every right to trust that man. All right, and you saw both were so close. And they say it's a game of inches for a reason. How close? I mean, it barely went in both times. Jake Bates, this is why you sign a guy like that, because when you ask your kicker to hit a 58-yarder and a 52, 53-yarder, Michael Badgley would have not done that. That is just facts. Jake Bates has the leg power. He has the capability that Dan Campbell says, you know what? It's 3rd and 7. We got enough timeouts. We could call a timeout and run another play, get him a little closer. Yeah. He said, fuck that. We got Jake Bates. Let him kick it.
I mean,
dude,
those weren't chip shots either.
No, they weren't.
58 yards and what was it?
And both kickers, I mean, you saw some of the kick. It was a little off. Fairbairn missed one too, but Jake Bates came in clutch. Amon-Ra with the huge Jahmyr Gibbs, the run game we were talking about, Caleb. Jahmyr Gibbs came in and just started pounding 20-yard run. Slowed down a little bit. When your superstars, when you needed them to make plays, they made plays. It just is that simple.
Yeah, especially you bring up Amon-Ra St. Brown, that 3rd and 6 on that final drive. You go to your best player. You go to Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's his territory. That was a huge pickup there. And, you know, man, I don't even know what to say right now.
I'm trying to look. We got Booner outside doing the Kool-Aid show. I mean, I can't.
Bro,
this is insane. What an environment. Dude, what an environment.
This is a game we're going to look back on, I think, when, you know, it's towards the end of the season and we're the number 1 seed in the NFC, and we're going to say, holy shit, thank God we won this game. How did we win this football game? Like, wow. And I mean, Goff, we could say what we want. Played the worst game of his career, but he outplayed C.J. Stroud in the second half.
Yeah, they did.
And that's because they got the run game going. And since they got the run game going, their whole offense started to find their rhythm.
Yeah, it took that. Shit. I mean, even, again, the pressure, they were getting they were the more – can you turn that light for me? Turn it a little bit, just the light. Thank you, man. Houston was the more physical team. Second half, the Lions were more physical. The sacks, right? They're constantly pressuring C.J. Stroud. That second half is what we expected in the first half. But you know what? We mentioned it, man. The Chiefs have these games where they're down or they look ugly. They find ways to win. And we said it in the first half. The Lions have to do that. That's the game plan, right? You're a good team. You're a Super Bowl contender. You find a way to win. And holy shit, they did that. I mean, Jared Goff, 5 picks. I got to look. We're doing this off the cuff here. Yeah. I don't know how many games in NFL history a quarterback throws 5 picks and you win. I don't know the actual data on that. I don't.
No, and
even though they're all different picks, I get the Hail Mary and stuff, but just the fact that it was 5 picks and they won, that's insane.
Dude,
insane.
I don't know if this is hyperbole, but like this was way more than an ugly game. Like we were playing like absolute. It was pardon my French, absolute dog shit.
Yes, it was garbage.
There's no team in the NFL that wins that football game. There's no team in the NFL. No. Dude, if we're gonna win that way, how are we going to lose? Like, seriously, dude.
Yeah.
Down
that
23-6.
And I can't remember if that Bears game, Goff had like 2 or I think he had 3 picks and they won. It's like if you What is Booner like? Booner always says you win the turn. We all say it. I mean, it's just the common thing in the NFL. You win the turnover battle, you win the game. They lost the turnover battle and won. So even like fucking basic like. I mean, a basic NFL saying is just simply not true with this team. It's like, you won the turnover battle. Great. We just drove down the field, kicked. I mean, we got to stop. Shout out to Aaron Glenn in the defense. Second half allowed 0 points. 0.
Yes.
0 points in the second half. Zip.
And, dude.
And the offense does that.
Yeah, shout out the defense, man. Joe Mixon, I'm looking at it right now, 25 carries, 46 yards. That's 1.8 yards a carry. James Houston, I think, came in and had 2 sacks. Josh Pascal was getting pressure. Brian Branch, 10 tackles. Who, by the way, is probably the best defensive player in football. Yeah, the way he was playing. I mean, and by the way, speaking of the defense for a second, like the defense showed up. Terry Arnold made a very crucial play at the end there. He rebounded because all game he was getting picked on. Yeah. I mean, he just was. Brian Branch had some great plays. Jack Campbell had some great plays. Elaine McNeil got the sack we were talking about because of the mismatch with this interior offensive line. Like the defense, you don't think Zadarius Smith is on the sideline watching that going, holy shit, I'm about to join the squad next week. We're about to – who do they face next week? Jacksonville? Oh, my God.
I mean, you got a pissed-off Lions team that played like that. They will not play like that the rest of the year.
Bro.
They just – on the road in that type of environment. Houston, that's a Super Bowl matchup, potentially. Like, Houston Texans are very good. They were without 2 incredible players, and the Lions said, you know what? We have no Hutch. You know, we don't have Taylor Decker, our starting left tackle. We can go to war with injuries, and they came out on top. They did. And credit to – again, Jared Goff for kind of overcoming the adversity there. And I got to say, I think MVP, if I'll give out my MVP, I'm curious who you think, like in terms of players and coaches. I got to say, Aaron Glenn. Dude, that second half was incredible. Yeah. I got to keep saying that defense in the second half was the reason you win that game. Holding a team to 0 in the second half at home, I don't like that. Is hard to do, and I don't care who it is. Yeah, face the Patriots. That is just it's hard to do, and they did that.
And dude, the 2 picks by Carlton Davis.
Those
were two. Those weren't just like right at him. Those are 2 like high level veteran plays by Carlton Davis. Tank Dell was wide the fuck open in the end zone on his second interception. Carlton Davis comes out of nowhere, picks it off. The first play of the second half. He got. I think it might have been a pass to the flat. Carlton Davis comes out of nowhere.
Yes,
picks it off. And you know I brought it up like we still had to face adversity in the second half. We didn't score off of either of those interceptions, which is crazy, and still won the football game. Like this is one of the craziest wins I've ever seen in the NFL, and that's not a hyperbole. Yeah. I seriously don't think I've seen a win like that in a long time. Jared Goff, 5 interceptions.
I mean, that's insane. It just doesn't happen. I mean, 5 picks, and honestly, like I said, 3 of them. 2 of them were tipped. The one, obviously the one before halftime, they threw the one downfield that was picked.
Yeah.
The 2 in the second half. Brutal.
Yeah.
Those are picks that are hard to overcome. I mean, they did that. And one of them was right off the rip. You got to stop. They drove down the field. He threw a terrible pick to Sam Laporta. People would say, well, it was a fine throw. It was still a pick, dude. But regardless, they overcame all that. And Jared Goff played significantly better as the game went on. Mm-hmm. Like that was – I don't want to say like MVP type performance. I think that's a little based on how, how he played.
That was
but the end of the game was like Jared Goff. That's what you expected right there. What he did at the end. Yeah. And the run game was just, O-line finally kicked into gear. And Jahmyr Gibbs gets these, chunk plays, which you were waiting on.
It was clutch by Jared Goff. Like everything he did. And look, that's awesome.
I know Jake Bates getting carried by the team. I love this dude. I love this dude. I mean, and you know what? We talked about it before, and this is prior to you joining the squad here, but I never got your thoughts on it. The whole like Jake Bates, Dan Campbell being aggressive. Yeah, he's always going to be aggressive, but my ideology on it was when you have a kicker that's capable, not saying Dan will lose his identity, but he'll be more open to settling for field goals. Yeah. Like I know people are like, oh, it doesn't matter, Dan's going to be Dan. But when you have a guy that's capable of hitting that like 58-yard field goals, Dan can be like, okay, you know what? Based on how the game's going, let's just let this guy hit a bomb. Like Michael Badgley, you're going for that. I mean, you're going for probably both of those. You're going to get closer with the game-winning field goal. In the 58-yarder, you're like, fuck. Yeah. He's not hitting this. Jake Bates is like, dude, I got you. And now Dan's going to he'll trust this man even more moving forward.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, if Michael Badgley was still our kicker, Dan Campbell is not letting the clock drip all the way to 4. The same thing he did again in the Minnesota game. And to your point, you're exactly right that Dan Campbell it hasn't gone away from his, his aggressive play style and going for it on 4th down, fake punts, all that stuff, which is fun and works sometimes. But Jake Bates is just another weapon added to Dan Campbell. It's unbelievable.
He's.
It makes this team so much more dangerous because you could just get in opponent's territory and there's a good chance you come away with points.
Yeah, I mean, he's automatic. I hate to say, I know it was close, but the dude is automatic. I mean,
statistically,
I'll say it. Yeah, no, fuck it. He's perfect on the year. And it's not just like 30-yard field. I mean, this dude's hitting bombs.
Yeah.
He's hitting bombs. You know what? Put him in the Ring of Honor right now. Put him in the Ring of Honor. Yes. I don't even care. You know what? I think, yeah. I mean, they put a graphic up. He had the 58-yard, tied for third longest in franchise history.
Yeah.
I mean, like Jason Hanson, Matt Prater, that's the class. This dude keeps doing that. He's in that class.
And this wasn't with 11 minutes left in the second quarter.
Oh no!
This was
on the road too, not at home.
This was on the road in prime time, and when you're down by 3 late in the fourth quarter, that is as clutch as it gets.
Yes.
And then the last one too, man. You know that's my MVP, Jeff. That's my MVP. It's Jake Bates. That's my MVP.
Yeah, you know what?
Today's game.
I misspoke. It's Jake Bates.
It's Jake Bates.
I'd Jake Bates. I think Aaron Glenn and Jake Bates are like the two right there. I would have to say the two, and throw in Jameer too. He made some plays, but I mean, that's on me. Honestly, Jake Bates MVP.
Yeah,
2 biggest kicks of the game, MVP.
And dude, you know what? He didn't have like the 15 carry, 110-yard touchdown game, but Jameer Gibbs should be up there for MVP too.
I think top 3 of those 3.
Yeah, because what Jameer Gibbs did in the fourth quarter is huge. Because when you're able to run the football. When you're the Detroit Lions and you're able to run the football, that's when you can get going.
Yes.
Like 19 carries, 71 yards, only 3.7 yards a carry. He started like 12 carries, 30 yards, and then he just exploded. That is so huge for this Detroit Lions offense. I don't know if we win the game without Jameer Gibbs.
No, and you're right. It's crazy. The more physical backs, it's like, you know how they say they get better as the game goes on? Even Jameer, who's not like physically imposing, dude got better as the game went on.
Yeah.
Like he's more of a like elusive. He's like the it's like the Sonic and Knuckles thing. But he as the game went on, defense is getting worn down. He's just making these plays, incredible plays.
And dude, also shout out. I think we might already shout him out because he got
give
that
another
big catch
one.
on 36.
Give another one.
St. Brown,
yeah,
man.
Give another
shout
one.
out to Amon-Ra St. Brown. He started the game 2 catches, 22 yards. He was almost non-existent in this offense. The Texans were shutting him down. Ends the game with 6 catches, 60 yards, big touchdown, big catch, 3rd and 6. That's an all-pro receiver making all-pro plays. Sam Laporta came alive today, 3 catches, 66 yards, called 2 deep ones, 1 a touchdown.
Yeah, he was like a deep threat in that game, Sam Laporta at tight end.
Yeah, the only 3 receivers, I mean, not counting Jameer Gibbs and David Montgomery, because they're running backs, obviously, but only 3 receivers caught passes today, which is crazy. Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Jameson Williams. The only 3 players to catch passes today. And you know what? That's not normal for the Detroit Lions offense because usually you'll see like a catch from Brock Wright. You'll see one from Tim Patrick. They just went to their guys today. They went to the guys they went to their playmakers. They went to the best football players on their team. You know, it was ugly in the beginning, but it turned out good. It turned out good.
And I see people just in the chat. Appreciate you guys all watching, by the way. We lost a light. It's a little darker in here because of the celebration. Rightfully so. You know, we're fired up. We got Booner back after doing
go Lions. What a fucking win. What a win.
Shout out Caleb holding it down,
Oh, my
man.
gosh.
Absolute
How many
legend.
people? We got a lot. This is
Yeah,
I'm going to say this, guys.
Huge.
We have had a lot of games over the last couple of years, regular season games. Obviously, the Vikings winning the NFC North. I'm out of breath. I just ran down the Ford Field.
Kool-Aid jug, Boone.
Probably, I got the Kool-Aid chugs get better every week.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't think I could. I fell in it today.
Yeah, a little wipeout, but it's just a little adversity.
We're facing adversity all over. We got a light out. We'll figure it out.
There's people all the time.
We'll figure it out.
There's people all the time that are always like, oh, Booner, like you messed around, you messed it. It's one take. Once I dump the Kool-Aid,
bro is dying.
Once I dump the Kool-Aid out, it's one take. But I'm gonna say this. Back to my point though. This Lions team, there was, guys, there was. We got to chill, boys. There was.
You got to chill. You're losing your breath. Okay.
All right.
There's never been a game like we saw tonight, is what I think.
Remember what we talked about in the first half? Me and Caleb were just talking about it. First half, what did we say? Championship teams, they find a way in these games. They find a way in these games, Boone. What they do in the second half, they found a way to win.
Yeah, no.
That's all we asked.
I think, and someone correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
This might be one of the best wins outside of winning the NFC North. I'm not talking
like
playoffs,
as far
regular
as just,
season.
like, proving like
regular
you are,
season.
because there's not like the only other team that would have been in that game is probably the
said.
Kansas City Chiefs that would have finished that game. Just finding a way to win.
It's I don't care, dude. You are down. guys, you were down almost 3 possessions at half and find a way to come back. And guys, your quarterback threw 5 interceptions. And I love Jared Goff. Guys, this is the thing that Dan talked about. Just complement each other. Find a way to win a game. If Goff is down, guess what? Defense, what do they do in the second half?
Shut him out.
Shut them out in the second half. They find a way to win every single time, man. And it's unbelievable that they were.
Yeah, they did.
It was single-handedly, guys, outside of the NFC North clinching game, that was the best regular season game I think we've seen out of Dan Campbell.
Yeah, like that win feels
comeback.
10 times better than the Tennessee Titans win.
Yes.
Or the Green Bay Packers win.
Yeah, I said
That's
with
funny.
Caleb. I said with Caleb, this reminded me of the Bears game at the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
because Goff threw 3 picks in that game. I think it was like 3 picks, and
5.
and it's even crazier because that Bears game was the Bears. This is like a Super Bowl contender. Like the Bears were not that. So this is like different. Like you can do it against the Bears. Okay, cool. You did it against a Super Bowl contender, the Houston Texans. No Nico Collins, no Will Anderson. Still a very good team. Yeah. And they did it on the road. That was in Ford Field.
With no Zadarius Smith either. They held Joe Mixon to like under 30 rushing yards, I believe.
If you told me, hey Jeff, Joe Mixon's gonna get 25 carries, I would have said he's gonna get 100. It's fine. Whatever. 4 yards a carry. Dude got 40. Like they shut him.
I haven't even looked at the box score.
I didn't either. I just know. I checked it because I had a bet slip in, but they shut that man down.
Yeah.
And honestly, I talked about a guy's MVP, Jake Bates, but I would say close second is Aaron Glenn. 0 points in the second half. That's hard to do. Jameer, that's top 3.
Gibbs put that offense on his back, and that's especially that fourth quarter. Yeah. When they finally just stopped trying to get cute and running behind that left side of the line, and they said, you know what, Jameer Gibbs, you're fast on every defender.
Yep.
Penei Sewell, you're better than any defender. And then you have Tim Patrick out there who we talk about all the time because of the run blocker that he is. Whenever they just decided to pitch it to the right side, they were getting 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10+ yards every time.
I mean, guys, Jameer Gibbs. Look at this. 37 receiving yards, 71 rushing.
Another 100+ yard
100+ yard game out of Jameer Gibbs. And in a not even a touchdown, just so solid. Anytime you need it. Jared Goff, guys, the 5 interceptions. All right. Take away those throws. I guess you don't want to take them away. 15 for 30, not good. 240 yards, 2 touchdowns. This is the thing with Jared Goff. That was bad what he did in times. But once that last interception happened, you could see it was like Jared's like, okay, we've got to switch. We've got to switch. Yeah. And guess what he did? He went out there and had 2 or 3 drives to end the game that won you the football game. Mm-hmm. And that's where it's like only people are going to see the 5 interceptions. Think about going through 5 interceptions and still coming
being
back.
Able to win.
That's impressive. And I know people are like, oh, Booner, Jared Goff, love it. No, dude. Like, think about that. For your quarterback to throw 5 interceptions in a game and to turn around and go 3 possessions? Let me see. Play-by-play here.
Because it was really just that fourth quarter. Like the third quarter, the offense was not clicking.
Look at the last 3 possessions of game: touchdown, field goal, and to go down and just get those done. And when you need points, you go and do it. And
Bates.
I mean, the defense: interception, punt, missed field goal to end the game. What a fourth quarter, dude.
Yeah,
in the second half.
Fairbairn shanked the hell.
Yeah, that was something. He usually makes those. It's just you need it. Sometimes it's like luck, but it's not a bad thing. Like Fairbairn missing the 58-yarder, like great, you'll take that. And the Texans
all day.
It's not even luck. Jake Bates literally made a 58-yarder 2 minutes before that.
Yeah, so and it's like you'll take it. This is the NFL. These are grown men.
We were this close to like having to do a post-game show and being like, you have to figure something. Like you can't have games.
You were this
like
close
that.
from you not doing a
Coolidge out of Ford Field. Like you can't have games like that. And I'll say like the first 3 quarters, dude, that was brutal.
Yeah, it was.
But to be able to turn that thing around.
Championship teams, man. That's what it is. Championship teams.
What did I tell you at halftime? I know we had the conversation. What did I say? Those guys, like, you're down that much. Super Bowl winning teams find a way.
We all agree.
And when we had that conversation, it was like the Chiefs are down 17-3.
They find a way to win.
What we said, the comment was they still won the game.
Lions just did that. That's what I was asking for.
Yeah.
I said, hey, man, you're a championship team. You find a way to win, and that's it. You get a W. So you know what? I'm happy, man. They won. They won on the road. You moved at 8-1.
It's the best team in football. Like I understand the Kansas City Chiefs keep finding a way to win, but like when you look at divisional opponent against the Denver Broncos, they're at home and they get lucky with the mixed field goal, and they've always just been in like one possession games. It seems like the Detroit Lions, they've been blowing teams out, and then they get a win this style. This team can go in there and win in any type of way, and we talked about it. You're going to get Zadarius Smith next week. They open the window for Ife Melifonwu. They open the window for Emmanuel Mosley. So this team, offensively, it's as good as it can get around the league. It wasn't their best showing in the first half, but they showed you when it matters. They can produce points. They can produce yards. Whatever they need, they'll get it when it matters the most. The defense to complement them is only going to get better. I think Aaron Glenn, boys, what do you think? That second half alone was probably the best defensive performance we've seen from a Lions team in the last 3 seasons.
I couldn't.
As far as important, like the pressure was on them because in that first half, they were getting carved up. Terrion Arnold looked terrible in that first half. He comes back. I know they wanted to call it a flag, but I thought that was good pass coverage, just end the game and help seal it. So defensively, Aaron Glenn, hats off. I don't want to hear another peep about Aaron Glenn being on a hot seat ever again, even close to it, as far as like, can he hold up his weight? Aaron Glenn has proved week in and week out he has what it takes to be a great defense.
I don't care if it was the Patriots. It's hard to hold any team to 0 in a half. That's crazy. 0 points in a half. I don't care. Again, I don't care who it is.
The
Panthers,
Fairbairn?
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Fairbairn, his missed field goal,
Yeah.
just everything had to go the Lions' way to win that game, and they were able to get it done.
Dude, it's like I said this to Caleb. It's literally by like definition, tale of two halves. The first half, you're getting outmanned on offense and defense. Second half, they're like running the ball the way they were. They're getting after Stroud. They went from who's the more physical team in the first half, the Texans. Second half, when it mattered, the Lions.
Can we? All right.
That's how it was.
After games, we always criticize the pass rush. Can we get some credit in the second half?
They got to work.
Guys, James
to
Houston a sack, Pat O'Connor a sack, Josh Pascal, Ali McNeil.
Darius Smith effect. He was in person.
Nine tackles for a loss,
the boys
7 pass deflections, 7 quarterback hits. Like the pass rush, when they was like, hey, the time's now. Like we have to step up. And now you're about to add Za'Darius. You're 8-1. And you're about to add Za'Darius Smith.
Dude, what does this do for a Texans team? Like, I can't imagine the psyche.
Demoralizing.
Dude, demoralizing. Like, remember we saw the one guy, like, I was making a joke with some DB. I think probably was, I don't know who it was. I don't know who it was exactly, but they got a tackle and they're like on the ground, like, they're like laughing, having a blast. Who's laughing now? You just fucking lost at home.
Really?
Jake Bates hit a bomb.
That goes when we talked about it before the show. Like, that goes to the Detroit Lions when they found a way to lose games. It was kind of on the flip side of it, they were losing those games, but they're seeing the other team win games. So they're saying, okay, this is how you win in games, how you stay in games. They did not give up for 1 second. Houston Texans, very good team, but as far as chemistry-wise, much younger than the Detroit Lions. Dan Campbell, much better coach at this point than DeMeco Ryan. DeMeco Ryan's still a good coach. But that second half showed the difference in a Super Bowl contender and a team who can make some noise in the playoffs and eventually maybe make a Super Bowl down the road. It's just a clear difference as of right now.
Yeah,
like
it really was.
If a quarterback, if you have 5 turnovers in general, but let alone the amount of turnovers they had in the first half, you should not be winning that game. That was the first game since 1970 where a team came back and won with that margin, with that many turnovers. So that game just shows how good this team is from front to back. Jack Fox in the second half, even like him, he struggled early on. He kind of shanked one, and the Texans got a good return. Jack Fox in that second half started bombing him again, putting him in long field position. So 1, 2, 3 offense, defense, special teams, they all showed out in that second half.
Yeah, they did. And I, again, credit to Jake Bates. I mean, the dude is just immaculate. And I said this, remember we talked about this before the season. If you have a kicker who's capable, not that Dan will change his ways, but when you have a kicker you can trust situationally, like Dan, if you had Michael Badgley, he's not kicking no 50. No, he's not. And the second one he would have shanked anyway. No offense to him, but it's just the facts. I mean, it's just the facts. So, you know, I think for having a guy like Bates, even though Dan's not going to change his identity completely, he's just can be like, you know what, boys, all right, man, we got a kicker who's capable. Yep. All right, we can settle it.
I've got a statement from someone. Someone texted me. John Macaroon, the doc. What he texted me. I said, Doc. He texted me and said, let's go. I said, you have a statement on the win. He said, classic Detroit Lions wins, fellas. Gritty effort from a team that refuses to give up. They played their worst game of the season and still beat a good team. Enjoy the ride. This team is special.
Yeah.
And he's not wrong.
The doc's positive?
Positive.
Hey,
I told him, I said, Doc, calm down. And he said, all right, Booner, I got you. And he said,
I'll chill.
It is kind of crazy. Like you guys, the situation we're going through, like the Lions, that was historic. Like this team just keeps pulling off. You're like, what else can this team do?
Do you think that's game of the year so far in the NFL?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah, that's crazy. You do not.
I think besides the Bengals Ravens games, like the shootout fashion, because it's just fun to watch a shootout. Like in terms of like nail biters and it's prime time. I don't think those Bengals Ravens games were prime time.
No.
So I would say you probably got to give it to this game. Prime time game.
I don't have work tomorrow. I'm so grateful. Like to when I turn on the TV in the morning, because that's all you're going to hear about tomorrow.
Yeah.
Is the Lions went, like to your point, prime time. I cannot wait to hear what the national media is going to say, because if you say anything bad about this team, like, well, technically they should have lost the game. It was 5 turnovers. Like, you don't know what you're talking about, because if you watch this team through the whole course of the season. Whew,
yeah, I mean, this is game. I would say game of the year probably at this point.
At this
prime
point,
time.
yeah.
And the two teams, two great teams. It was like everything that had to happen.
And like two great quarterbacks looking terrible.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
like,
I
it
mean,
was-
we harp on golf. CJ's threw a couple picks too.
First play. I mean, especially
Most picks, I think, of the season so far.
My
in a
favorite
game.
part of that game was Dan Campbell coming out of half. He's like, we need to get turnovers. We need to be able to get the ball in our offense's hand more, and it's not going to happen in one play. And then literally the play coming out of halftime, Carlton Davis pick. CJ Stroud has a wide open Tank Dell to ice the game, essentially. Like, if they score that touchdown, the dynamic of the game flips. The blown coverage, and Carlton goes from this numbers and picks the ball off.
Yeah,
That was insane.
Quick correction. Yeah, Ravens Bengals was just on primetime, but just want to correct that.
As far
That is
as
true.
like, yeah.
But this
Thursday.
game, in
This
terms
side-
of like nail biter,
better.
this is better. Yeah,
This was the best game I've seen in
just
the football
because the
season.
comeback, like the Lions were out down and out. Everyone, and by the way, Tin Roof, shout out.
Love it.
Held us down.
And they were. Hopefully, we're back. Like, this
Yeah,
was
hopefully we're back. But
unbelievable.
people were leaving early. Like that was the vibe early. It was just like it's over. You know,
I mean, at
No, it was a
halftime, you're
trap
down.
game.
You're down for almost 3. You're down 3 possessions.
7-23.
I mean, I don't
you look the
blame
way you
anyone.
look, and this is why you never leave. Okay, it's why you don't leave unless it's me at Ford Field. I'll leave.
You gotta get
well,
out.
you did it for the NFC
I'll
Championship
sacrifice
game,
myself.
You're kind of a little too close tonight. We didn't even think about that.
No,
Boone said,
we're good.
I said I want to
There's a
jump in.
barrier.
I
There's a
said I want
barrier.
to jump in. Boone said, "Stay over
cage.
there."
Cage
Yeah,
is
we got
keeping
the
it up.
Boone made the right call. You made the right call.
last thing too, I just want to credit like Jake Bates. That just we had the
Yes.
conversations all off season long, and it was and Michael Badgley did a great job for a couple years. Like he had the game
Held
winner
down.
versus the
Very
Rams. He
steady.
did-
Very steady. Yeah.
The Jake Bates acquisition by Brad Holmes has been one of the best acquisitions since he's been in.
Kicker's hard.
I
to
can
figure
tell you.
out.
I can tell you one thing. Jake Bates just kicked
14
himself
for
into an
14.
All-Pro.
Yes, 14 for
Yeah.
You kick
14
a
on the year
58.
right now.
You go 100% like you said. You're kicking a 58-yarder tied, then a 52-yarder to win it on
And
prime time.
If he continues to do what he's doing, like guys, and I brought up the comparison in the offseason, the Brandon Aubrey thing in Dallas, where Brandon Aubrey came from the XFL or the USFL, whatever it is, and where he was at the time. And he comes into the NFL and just takes the NFL by storm and is basically perfect all year. Jay Bates is like 14 for 14. I think this is the second game winner, maybe even third this year. I think it's 2, but it could be 3. Like, he doesn't nothing has rattled him.
No.
And the kicks, dude, both of those
They
kicks
were-
were.
No, and
They were
it's
that
a game of
close.
inches.
Yeah, he's
That's-
found a way, dude, and it's unbelievable.
They
It
got
is
their guy.
unbelievable, man.
Jason
Yeah.
Hanson.
He
Matt
deserves
Prater.
all the
He's-
credit out of everyone. You could say Dan and AG. I think AG defensively, like
It's
0
I would
points
say
in the
3
second.
top 3's got to be Bates, AG, and Jameer.
Then
Those are-
asterisk Panay Sewell, because the holes that Panay Sewell was creating for Jameer.
Oh, it's insane. It was
Good
insane.
God. Panay was playing out of his mind in that second half.
I mean, he just was. He just was. I cannot wait. We're gonna have a great show tomorrow. Tomorrow's show's gonna be
8
electric.
o'clock, 8 p.m. Man, we've got a lot
It's
of
gonna be
people
electric.
watching. Shout out
Make
to
sure if you're not
Tin
subbed
Roof.
right now, by the way, hit
Dude,
the subscribe, hit the
What are you
like.
doing?
Hey, go check out the
Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid video.
Hey,
Yeah,
pull
we're
it up.
gonna cue it up. I mean, we love Tin Roof. They're
yeah,
kind of
Can
kicking
we
us
pull
out.
it up
Yeah,
over there? I've got
Yeah.
1%.
I don't know
left
if
on my
Caleb knows how to.
computer.
I don't know how to. If Caleb knows how to do it. We put him in a top spot. This is
Tough
like
spot.
this is like asking.
Hey,
Tough
hey,
spot.
Skip's in right now.
Yeah,
Decker's
and we're
down,
asking him
Skip's
to
in.
we're asking him to load up stuff. But hey, for all you guys tuning in, we appreciate Tin Roof for having us out. Pat from Real American Beer having the boys out as well. We had a blast.
God. Here, I'll go over there and do
Yeah,
it.
hey, lock in, Boone. You got it.
But you know
For
what?
the meantime,
We will be back.
Boone's going to get the Kool-Aid
We
up.
will be back. If you're watching and you came over here and supported us, we appreciate you. If you
Shout
tuned in
out.
and supported
Tons of
us, we appreciate you. All right, we're gonna try and be back here for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Because
That'll be electric.
Yeah.
Home at Thanksgiving, too.
Oh yeah, you just can't. I mean, it can't be any better.
Who they got? The Bears?
Yes. Oh, they do.
There. All right. Caleb Williams, your narrative? Losing to those Pats today?
I hope they destroy him.
Hey, but your Steelers, they walked out heads held
Yeah,
high on
it's
that
not
one.
my watch next week. Commanders will lose 2 in a row.
You can call them your Eagles. Hey, Lions W though, Hefe. Lions
That's all that
W.
matters. Best team in the NFL. We're gonna cue up this Kool-Aid video. Booner, tell me when you cue it, so we don't we're not talking over the video. All right, we'll see you guys later. Subscribe. We
Peace.
love you. Peace.
Look at this beautiful establishment. Ah! And the Detroit Lions are the best football team in the world. Hey, that's hard-nosed, Dan Campbell, football, Jake Bates. Nails, you're a dog. Jake Bates, Jared Goff, we got you. All those guys up there, sure. We got you. Let's go drink the Kool-Aid, baby. The best team in football. We're winning the Super Bowl. Woo! And look at this beautiful establishment.